Why, hello, everybody. Hope everyone is doing fantastic. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be tuning in from. Look who we have here. We have Mariya. This is
Hi
the
everyone.
lead vocalist in Baldur's Gate 3, among with many other achievements and titles and accolades as well. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you for inviting me. I am one of two lead vocalists because people are always like, "Oh, do you do Weeping Dawn?" I don't do Weeping Dawn.
Hmm.
I don't do that one. That's my colleague Ilona Ivanova. I sing Down by the River, Song of Balduran, some of the like vocal Elvish thingies, and I sing in Raphael's Final Act, which is I just knew I knew it was gonna be such a slay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and yeah, thank you for inviting me. I would love to speak all about music with you. It's evening here. It's 11 o'clock in the evening, which is fine because I'm a night owl, so it's all right.
Yeah, the time zone difference was one that was interesting because we're about 8 hours difference, and
Hmm.
making this work was it had a little bit of uphill battles, but I'm really really happy that it ended up working out in the end. I know you have a really busy schedule. You have your rehearsals that you were talking about and mentioning. A lot of
I'm finally
schedule.
I'm finally free for a while. I think there was gonna be this like long a month, you know, rehearsal period. It was I hope like no not hopefully they're giving me a couple weeks break for me to relax and then on to the next role. But for now I'm chill. I have a little bit of time for myself.
Hmm, that's always good because musicals. I'm assuming you're talking musicals.
Yeah.
They're go go go. It's 7 days a week. It's this many shows here there, and it is a
No,
lot. No,
no, here
it's different.
in Bulgaria, it's starting out. Musicals are starting out now.
Hmm.
The last couple of years, or 5, 6 years, they've been developing.
Hmm.
Before that, nobody did musicals. Everybody did opera and operetta,
Oh.
and there's a lot of audience for it.
Hmm.
But the theaters still haven't figured out how to, you know, they know that they're gonna have full houses, but they don't know how to arrange this many shows, the rights for this many shows, because operas, all of the composers, they're dead. There's nobody to take the rights from. You can do whatever you want. With musicals, if you get the rights, they're for like a certain amount of shows.
Hmm.
Um, Also, you have to be, for example, if you take something from Broadway, you have to your costumes, your scenography, and the direction has to be exactly the same as the Broadway or West End version.
Oh wow.
So here they're still testing the waters for. So we rehearse for a month or a month and a half or 2 months, and then we play once a month,
Hmm.
and then it's a month afterwards and you forget everything and you just have one general rehearsal and they're like, oh, just remember whatever you did a month ago, and you're like so it's they're not so often, sadly, and it's a lot of work.
It seems quite different from over here. Over here, it's to my knowledge, it's just show after show after show, and it's
Yes.
um 6 7 days a week, and uh however many months or whatever, and that just seems draining. But it seems just quite opposite, and but draining in a different sense. It's rehearsal after rehearsal, and you have to jog the cogwheel of memory for the
Yeah,
showtime itself. That's yeah, that's actually very different from over here. That's interesting.
I know how it is up there. I know about the um 7 days a week, so 6 days a week main cast plays, the seventh day, the understudy plays, or however it's made. Sometimes I do this. In Bulgaria, this means yes.
Oh, really?
um, yeah, so this and this, I use both of them for yes. So when I say this, it doesn't mean no. I'm not disagreeing. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good to
Yeah.
know.
Uh,
That's different here. I'm learning a lot actually already. So thanks for telling me. Um, Previously, a couple years ago, I got to speak with the it's quite a long title that he gave it to it, but he is the Broadway's New York genie from Aladdin, and he did that for 3 years straight. And I got to learn a lot about Broadway musical theater and such from him. It was a blast. Um,
mhm.
so being able to get a little bit on an inside on just how much work goes into this, um, it's an incredible feat. It's a skill that is not for everybody, and um, there's a lot of appreciation that can be put behind that. Knowing about it more, um, I don't think everybody gets to understand that truly until you speak with someone who's done it. Um,
Mhm.
so thanks for providing that. That's good to know. Um,
Yeah. It helped a lot with Raphael's final act, actually, because
mm,
it's such a musical theater villain song. It's a Rocky Horror Picture Show with a
yeah.
little bit of like a Scar from Lion King.
So you got the Disney
It's
villain too.
Yeah, you got the Disney villain too, and it's evil, flamboyant,
Yeah.
cocky. It's super cool. So that helped me there. And first time I heard it, we were in the recording studio. This was after we did, I think after Song of Baldur, and Borislav was like, we have this thing. We have half of it, and it's an actor, but the way that he does it, it's so good. It doesn't matter that he's an actor and he's not a singer. Just
Mm.
listen to this, and he made me listen to it, and I died. It was I wasn't expecting it because what I had been hearing until now, it was all of these like medieval fantasy, very bardy songs, epic songs, and this was so different. And the way that he does it, the way that he enunciates the words, the way that he talks, the character, so it's so Broadway. I love it. It's so good. It's perfect. I think any singer that they could have, asked to sing instead of him would not have been this good.
Oh wow. Um,
No.
Andrew, when I spoke with him, was genuinely surprised when I um talked up how important Raphael's final act actually is, and he didn't really seem to know. Um, he didn't really know or seem the impact, and I asked him if he did professional, you know, music before because I would have thought, me listening, I would have thought that he would have done some pieces beforehand. He said professionally, no. That was his first like professional piece, and um I feel like Borislav did a really good job drawing the confidence out of him and getting him to um stand in a performance styled role. Um
Hmm.
and yeah, like you were saying with the way that the words are enunciated, the three different styles when he says hell, it's not the same tone, it's not the same pitch. He delivers it in different ways, and it's a small change, but it's also a very impactful change, and it's just right when he starts. It's the very first three words that he says, and it's always delivered in a different impact. If he said it in the same tone, it wouldn't have had the same draw, and that alone is already amazing. And when I spoke to him, I said I kind of felt a little bit about like Hellfire from Hunchback of Notre Dame. I felt a little bit of that's what I felt immediately.
I love that one. I it's Frollo is my personal favorite Disney villain, and they just don't make them like this anymore because it's problematic now. It's problematic. Oh, he's a priest and he wants to force himself on the girl, but it's her fault, victim blaming, whatever, and all of that. And right now, we probably wouldn't be able to.
It wouldn't pass today.
It would not pass. It wouldn't pass. Yeah, so
Um,
Baldur's Gate 3 is giving us what we're missing when it comes to Disney villain songs, especially recent ones that I've listened to. Where is the what was the one from Wish new
oh,
new oh yeah, a new Disney film, and it this and there's a villain song, and it doesn't hit, it doesn't make you scared, and at the same time, well, can I say that?
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Um,
it doesn't make you scared and horny at the same time. They're like just there, it's just there. So yeah, I'm sorry,
no, it's
but yeah,
totally fine.
yeah, Raphael's final act is giving what we're missing and what we need.
And he kind of does a different way of doing it too, but also draws back to the '90s villain era, which is um, he doesn't sing it like in a flowing kind of way. It's kind of like talking singing. Um,
Yeah,
and I mentioned that it kind of reminded me of Jack Skellington in a way from Nightmare Before Christmas, where he was singing, "What's this? What's this? What's that over there?" You know, that sort of thing. It's kind of that same style. Um,
yeah,
and I think the talking singing really drew back to his character um, in game, as well as being able to have it flow throughout the song, which is incredible. Um, I also get a little bit of Hades from Disney's Hercules in there too, just a tiny bit. Um,
but he doesn't have a song. Sadly,
he
I've always
doesn't.
been. I was so sad. Like the muses sing for him, like the third or the second gospel truth, but he would have had a great Disney villain song. I think because beginning of Disney songs, they're very like old school opera type of singing, and
Mhm.
then the 90s, like Beauty and the Beast, and all of those, they're very musical theater inspired, and those are like that's why it's the singing, speaking through song.
Yeah.
So it's in musical when like certain parts of your song are flowy and sang,
Mm.
and certain parts you say them in the in the correct note, or even you can even break it, and it's like a combination of the two. And after that, recently it's been very pop hits, so it's not so musical theater, it's more something that you'd hear on the radio,
Yeah.
which I suppose maybe in the future people are going to be nostalgic about this, what it is now, the way that we're nostalgic for the old like 90s Disney songs. So yes, it's again very musical theater.
I don't know if it'll have the same timeless, lasting factor though. If I'm being honest, I think
Maybe yeah, maybe yes.
I there are certain songs that will be in the category of timeless. They will live on forever. And it's what I said to Andrew. I'm going to say the same thing to you. Raphael's final act is in the timeless era as it was for and the first thing that comes to mind is Final Fantasy VII's One Winged Angel, Sephiroth's theme. Um
Yeah.
it is in that same it doesn't matter how many decades will go past, people will still be talking about it.
It also goes with such a badass character.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
both of them have that going for them.
If Andrew
But
busted
yeah, I
out
think
Latin lyrics, I probably would have cried.
maybe they could have given me something like that, because it like his the demon ladies in the background could have been singing like in like Latin summoning enchantment, whatever they are.
For like a choir arrangement,
Yeah,
like a
but
chant.
yeah, but the language that Bobby uses, I think it's like in the choral versions, in the choral songs where they're like singing something. I think it's gibberish. I think it's like a made up language. Um, at first, I sang it and I was like, oh, like this sounds like a Bulgarian choir, like all of these, because Bulgarian singers, like the popular Bulgarian opera singers or whatever worldwide, are like basses or baritones, like really deep. voices and like, oh, this is such a Bulgarian choir, all of these like deep voiced men singing, and I'm like, oh, is this Bulgarian? But it's not. What is it? Is it Latin? And then I think it's just whatever he likes, like sounds that he likes, and you're out. This sounds good for this note, so I'm just gonna add this vowel or consonant. So it's maybe the Latin of Baldur's Gate 3 is this Bobby language.
I reached out to Borislav and I wanted to know what the um language was like on the main title theme. I was curious. Because it doesn't sound like anything I've ever heard before.
To me as well, like I don't know, it's not this isn't confirmed, but this is my speculation because it sounds Simlish. It sounds like a Sims language.
It fits though. It sounds good.
Yeah,
I like it.
it sounds good. It sounds Slavic,
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
what we need. Slavov it needs to sound Slavic.
That was the first thing that I thought of when I saw his name. I was like, this is the most Slavic name that I have ever seen, and I love it.
It is. It is. It's super Slavic.
um, but yeah, Raphael's final act. While we're on the conversation of that, there was a lot um for Raphael's final act. I went through the song, and when I spoke to Andrew, I said I listened to it the very first time. I listened to it for 7 hours straight afterwards. I needed to know more about the song. And then previous to or prior to our conversation now, I again listened to it for another 3, 4, 5 hours. I needed to break down the song and understand what's going on with it. Um, there's the organs in there right away that are lined up with your voice. When you first say lives, I was like, all right, I fucked up. I regret everything. I made a bad decision. Can I go back in a save and not do this? But also at the same time, I needed to just pause and wait and listen because lyrics in video games are distracting. They pull the player to the words, they pull the player to the music. Even in gameplay, menus, credits, it always draws the player away. And I feel like a lot of people just stop in their place and they just listen to the song, which is super important for character building and you know gameplay itself. Um, there's doom, there's urgency, there's conflict, and the organs really draw to that. And two musical voices are going on. It's your voice and it's the organs' voice.
Yeah.
And that's what we hear right away. And it's scary. It's terrifying. But in a good way. It's I don't know how to explain terror, but like I need to keep listening. um it's an orchestra masterpiece. There's um you have your brass instruments that come in later on. You have your winds, you have your strings, and together I need to listen to this in a live orchestra one day in person because I will be completely blown away if I get that opportunity. Um, the
Well, this
passing,
one is going to be hard because we need to bring Andrew as well.
yeah, there's no one else that can do it.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just going to be my part repeating. And no, I mean it's good, but it's not. That's not the soul of the song. So, or maybe if they make a concert in America with that would be cool. But for now, we had in Italy one, and we're gonna have another one,
Mm,
and they're like these companies that do video game stuff. They do streams and they development and different things, and they organize these events. And I don't know yet for like a big public event, but hopefully there will be because I know there was one last year in Poland.
mm.
And there's a video of it in YouTube, and it's really beautiful because it's like a symphony made of different parts of the song, and they are made into one piece so that it can you know, the orchestra and the vocalists and everything can go and they can do everything, you know, at once, and it's really pretty.
Hmm.
And maybe if this year they do something like this. But the one in Poland looks really nice. I like it if they do that one again, and maybe other, you know, types, because luckily for them, both me and Ilona were not just recording artists, we're mainly stage artists, so we don't have a problem with going on stage and singing these things for like hundreds of people.
Hmm.
It's fine for us. But yeah, this one would be really cool. I don't know, hopefully, like, fingers crossed, because it's super, it would sound great on a stage and with like a live orchestra.
I'm actually really curious. You were mentioning that YouTube video. If you remember after our conversation today, could you send that to me? I would love to listen.
The one that
The one that was
which
on
one?
stage, the one that you were mentioning.
The one in Poland.
Yes, the Poland one, the Polish
Yes,
one.
yeah, I'm gonna send that one.
That would
Yeah,
be
I'll send that
fantastic.
afterwards.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
of course.
But yeah, that's the other thing you said. Andrew would need to be there. There's a passing back and forth um, between your verses and his verses, and um, that back and forth chemistry that was that layered beautifully and perfect. Um, that's the soul of the song. It's, you know, there's I almost get a little bit Gaston from Beauty and the Beast from him, just a little bit. He has like a little bit of arrogance and cockiness that's coming through um the style of character that he is. There's a lot of elements that he has, but that kind of seeps through on the back and forth. Um, like he
Beauty and
wants
the
to take
Beast is
over the
actually
stage.
the uh, one thing that I think is different than, you know, having a fight and having like background music. This one is canonically, it's live as well in the game.
Yep.
Like I doubt he pre-recorded it on a demon recording machine and played it. I think, you know, I don't know, I don't think he opens his mouth, but like realistically, if it was real life, he would be singing this while he's fighting you. So
Mm.
it's not just background music, it's literally happening while you're fighting. So it's a part of the fight. Maybe that helps people not get like super distracted, and it doesn't take away from the fight itself.
Mm. Um, because yeah, he's actually singing it to you in game as well, and um, there's a lot of things that you can do um with your character to um I guess sort of mess with the music and Raphael himself. Um, I don't know if this is I don't want to spoil it, but there are some certain things that you can do that can mess with the track a little bit, and that draws forward that it actually is the character singing it to you directly in game while the fight is going on, and that is an element that I think um, Larian put together. It's a small little detail if you explore it, but it's also a detail that um, showcases Raphael even further, um, of the type of, you know, character and
You can spoil because my oh, I was you know, my laptop couldn't get through Act Two, but I watched. I had to like finish the game, so I watched the stream. So I watched everything.
okay, that's
So
fair.
don't worry about spoiling. Yeah,
If
I
if you
am spoiled.
if you cast silence on Raphael in game, Raphael stops singing, but the music and you still sing. So you silence Andrew. Yeah. Yeah.
This is so cool. This is
Right?
so cool. Yeah, and it like confirms that he is currently singing. He hasn't done a demon pre-recording.
Yeah.
Oh, this is really nice.
Right? That was a detail as soon as I found out I needed to look at, and I needed to like find out and see it for myself. Um, one of the coolest, smallest details, but so impactful. And Yeah, Larian delivers a lot of small but impactful details, and that's just one of them. Raphael to me is the final boss of Baldur's Gate 3. When I fought the brain, um, I was thinking to myself, why am I fighting this side boss? Like, Raphael was already the final boss.
He's the main character of the game.
Absolutely. And I mentioned that to Andrew as well, and he was, stunned. He
Has he
was
not
shocked.
seen that this song is the wait, let me check. I checked already. Raphael's Final Act has 4.5 million views in YouTube. This is the most listened to song of the soundtrack. This is the most listened to song of the soundtrack.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Because so much went into that. There was so much passion and soul went into that. Um, and yeah, Andrew was mentioning that Borislav really brought out the performer in him. He kept saying, it's all about the performance, the performance. He says, um, he drew confidence out of him. Um, Andrew admitted that he was admittedly nervous, and of course, that totally makes sense and it's understandable. But Borislav knew what he was doing when he was working with him, and he said it was always about performance first, and that's what he wanted to see from Andrew. And we could see that for sure. There's definitely a lot of
He's
performance behind it.
very, yep, he knows exactly, like you don't go there and he's like, oh, I have this concept, maybe you can throw some ideas and I have some ideas. He knows exactly in his head, he can hear the songs and he knows exactly how he wants them to sound because for Down by the River, that
Yeah.
was the one that they needed me for. The rest, they were like, you want to try this one and you want to try this one, and we did them. But for Down by the River, he there was a casting. They tried a lot of different singers, and all of them were good. But in his head, he had exactly the voice that he wanted to hear. He's like, this is the thing, and you know, you go there and he explains exactly how he wants it to sound. He explains everything. You don't need to. I mean, it's very quick,
Mm.
and he wants to bring out the unedited, like the most you version of your voice that's possible. Because we met first time, actually, Beauty and the Beast, because you mentioned it. That's the video that I had uploaded. I uploaded a video of moments from my premiere as Belle, and that's what Borislav saw and listened to, and he contacted me for the audition.
Oh wow.
So yeah, upload your things, upload everything. Like even if you don't think it's good, art, music, whatever, everything you do, just upload it online because you don't know what people want and what people are looking for. And he called me and I went to the studio and I tried to sing the song, and he's like, this part of the song and this part and this part, this is the way that you're singing here is what your voice sounds without any editing that you have tried to learn for opera, musicals, whatever. Like if you remove all of that, which for me is unnecessary, I don't like that. This is your like most authentic voice. Go home, and I want the whole thing to sound like this. I don't want to hear any technique. I don't want to hear anything that you've studied anywhere. I don't care. I want your like Mariya voice, like the way that you sounded when you were a kid, for example, before like people were like trying to change your voice to fit into. Because with opera or musicals, you can give more from yourself, but with classical music, you can't do whatever you want. You can't sound like yourself. The more that you sound like everybody else, the better you are. That's the standard. And it was really cool because it was the first time in my whole career as a musician where people were actually like looking for that. They were looking for, me and the way that I sound like naturally.
Mm.
And he had such a clear vision of everything. Everything
Mm.
was pre-planned. I went there. I didn't have to do anything apart from listen to him and recreate and sing. So it's easy for a vocalist working with Borislav
Mm.
because he knows exactly what he wants and exactly how he wants things. He even has his own versions of all of the songs with his voice. He
That's
even
amazing.
uploaded on his YouTube. He uploaded "Down by the River," the first version, which he sang, and he has that for, I think, pretty much everything.
He seems like, and I've spoken with him a couple of times back and forth. He seems, and this is going to be a high praise as much as I possibly can, but he seems modern day genius. He knows precisely, and he can pick apart meticulously where things need to be slightly altered, slightly changed, and his layering is so impressive. Um, because when I spoke with Andrew with Raphael's Final Act and the demo track that he got just the music. He said he didn't hear another vocalist on the track. He just heard the music, and um, I don't know in which direction it was done in. I'm not sure if you heard Andrew on the demo track, but it seems like he.
I heard Andrew. It was instrumental,
Hmm.
Andrew, and last thing was me recording the female vocals, which
Oh,
is
so he
how,
started with Andrew then. Okay.
yeah, which is what it would have been with in the game, because Raphael wouldn't be like waiting around for his. He he comes first. He's gonna sing first, obviously. Yeah.
Hmm, that makes
So yes,
sense.
he didn't hear me, but I did hear him, and that was necessary for me to get like inspiration.
Yeah, I imagine that helped you out in the long run, um, because yeah, um now you have one singer and you have the instrumentals, and then um Borislav would just be looking for that one missing piece, and that's getting to Raphael, carrying to Raphael, and getting the performance up, to get up in tempo, up in pitch, and really bring home the instrumentals later on in the song. Um, and yeah, again, he layered it perfectly because he had to balance Andrew's voice, your voice, and every single uh, instrument along the way, and put it together. That's layering to a whole new level, and yeah, you have to be a genius to be able to know exactly what you want before it's even created in front of you. Um, so it's really nice to see that it was right down to the letter. It's also nice to hear that you got to be yourself too. That he didn't want um, all something completely different. He wanted raw vocals. He wanted you.
His direction is more the situation, like he explains for Song of Baldur. You're in a tavern, and like the fireplace is lit. Characters are coming. They're tired. They're at the end of their journey.
Hmm.
You're like being annoying on stage. You know, you need to make them like it's the he's explaining where I am and what
Hmm.
I'm doing and what the situation is and who I am, who my character is, and what's happening around me, and that's enough. It's not, oh, sing like this or more like this or more like that.
Hmm.
So it's really, and he's the most normal person. This is because I have met, maybe I don't know, I've met a lot of geniuses,
Hmm.
like this guy who was from my hometown, and he became like this super famous genius violinist. And this is like this creature who has the most, they become this arrogant evil being. Yeah, like you come home once a year, you don't even see your mom because, oh, the world, I'm so great, like
Hmm.
I'm fucking the best because I'm a genius. And it's so, it's not often that you see geniuses who are human,
Hmm.
who are still like have human qualities to them.
It's consuming in a
And
way.
yeah, but I don't know. I think maybe because he focuses on his craft, on doing it, and not so much on um like being a celebrity or taking part in all, like playing this whole when you get into it, it's, I don't know how to explain it, because I have to do that now. In like the theaters, I always have to like speak to all these people. I have to put up a front, and I have to like, not kiss ass, but you can't like go around and be yourself, because everybody's super self-important and self-righteous. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people. And maybe when you focus on your thing and you stay in your studio and everything goes into your art, and your idea isn't to be better than everybody else, but it's to create something different, which is, reflects on you and who you are, then you save yourself from the whole transformation into a creature of the night,
Hmm.
which happens to so many fucking people. But
I
yeah,
think
he's super human, super good hearted and helpful and everything.
a lot more people need to be more not only humbled but also remember where they started from. Um, I think that's one of the most important. Knowing where you started from and where you are today. And I haven't spoken to Borislav that much, but it seems like he's the kind of person who is striving to um, beat himself from yesterday so he can be a better today. Is what
Yeah.
I get from him. Um, and I think a lot more people need those kind of qualities. Um,
But we
but you were mentioning Down by the River. Down by the River is um, you were saying that a lot of that was you, and um, there's a couple of instruments in the back that are um, musical voices as well. Um, but um, a lot of that is your raw vocals on it, and um, there's a lot of really cool things about Down by the River that I um, picked out from that. It's the very first song in the game. It's during the character creation screen, and normally you don't get lyrics during the character creation screen. It's
For a reason,
yeah.
because you have to listen to it 100 times, and I am surprised that people don't hate me. I am surprised that people can even stand my voice, because I can't I can't stand to listen to myself for a minute, because it's me, and
Oh,
I think it's normal. I cannot imagine having to do that for so long, and yeah, it's very hard to add a lyric song
hmm.
to the character creation menu where people have to listen to it and not have everybody despise the song and have such a positive feedback. This is the most impressive thing, I think.
That's the thing that I was kind of mentioning earlier. Lyrics are kind of distracting in the way it pulls viewers and pulls players into what the song is and what the words are, especially if it's one that you can understand. People are going to be focusing on that. And like you were mentioning, if you hear it for 100, 200 playthroughs, and you get the same, I guess, quote unquote distraction, um, it's going to be hard to listen to it 200 times. But in the same sentence, you have a way that makes it fresh every single time, if that makes sense. Because there's me that I can listen to Down by the River all day and have that replaying for 7, 8 hours straight, and I would not get tired. Um, I've made 4 or 5 playthroughs in Baldur's Gate 3, and I don't get tired of the song. Um, I could listen to that, forever. It's enchanting. It's magical. Um, there's a softness to it, and there's also a welcoming to it. You're inviting us into the world. You're the very first um part of the story that's inviting us into the writing of the game, and that's super important. That's super super important, and um all the chords that are in there as well are um from what I can tell, all in the minor key, but we have a lot of what is it? G minor, C minor, E flat, and B flat is what I got from that, and um, the C minor especially is very calming. It's like the center fold of the song. There are some tension chords that come later on in the song, like the world is all cool and magical and enchanting, but there's also some tension in there too. But then you bring us right back into inviting us, which is a story in itself.
It was like it was supposed to be a siren song. That
Mm,
is what it is, maybe in its core.
mm,
Um, I didn't know about this because I joined development October 2020. What what year is it? 2022
mm.
October. So that was like 8 or 9 months before release, I think. I don't know. I can't count. Is that it? Did it released March or May 2023?
I believe it was May. I believe.
All right, like 7 months before.
Yeah.
So there were like a lot of versions of everything. A lot of things were changed and scrapped. And I was reading through comments, and people were commenting on the fact that this song previously held a different meaning
Mm,
because of some concept that there was um, for maybe a character who the song was related to,
mm,
but I couldn't really find because maybe they scrapped it and they like deleted information about it, but people were commenting on it. And the siren thing, so now like my tip was, oh, you need to invite people and it needs to be like a siren song,
mm,
but I think it was maybe legit something like that in early development.
mm,
So that was the original concept of it. Um, it was, to invite you in the character menu, but
mm,
maybe also in the game something relating to that. I don't know, like maybe people who played the game during the early access can tell us more about it, but I didn't play the game then, so I don't know.
I unfortunately did not play during early access either. I hope that someone who has played during early access could assist in that. That'd be good information to know. Um, there's a lot of really neat things in Down by the River as well that again are kind of like a callback to Raphael's final act. There's some small but very impactful things that are seen throughout the song. I'm not sure if that was you. I'm not sure if that was Borislav in his ideas, but the song um, "Down by the River," when you repeat the word "down," the song actually goes down.
It goes
Uh,
down, yeah.
yeah,
That's it's smart.
it
Just
is. Um,
smart use of lyrics.
it's the one time that lyrics and music can kind of speak together, and it could be words like down, up, higher, lower. It's the one time that you can in a very very smart way, like you said, combine um musical language and also lyrical language together, and it works perfectly. it it's beautiful the way that it comes together. Um, and around the tension chords is around, I believe, verse 3, about halfway through the song. Um, there's a build up in pitch. Um, it almost you kind of draw us away from the tension, even though that there are tension chords. You bring us back into a what feels like a triumph, like a victory. When we're um all the way up top in pitch. Um, there's
Wait,
world building, adventure. It's great.
later heart. Ah, when it's during the bridge,
Yes, because it changes. The
just
song
leave the
changes.
flames and take a chance to be with me tonight.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that's
when
it's different, and it does go, and it's like just leave the flames, and your voice goes up, so you're like jumping. So
you are
again, it's
all the
the
way
same.
up there.
It's yeah. It was it took a few takes.
Um, yeah, that's
Yeah.
again, that's another good use of lyrics. Because as soon as that lyric hits, you jump up. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, that's where I sort of felt like there was a victory or like a triumph in there. And then we got brought back into the invitation, the world building, because it goes back to what we saw in the first half of the song, which is incredible. Um, yeah, it's I see a comment from Davey right now. He said, "Down by the river was hauntingly beautiful. The hours I spent in character creation drifted by, flowing on, bopping my head along." I feel like Larian knows that players spend 3, 4, 5 hours in character creation in RPGs, and they needed something to go along with that. Um, that we needed something to join us while we were changing the face of our character, our hair color, or because there's a lot of players that are very precise about how they want their character to look, and it can spend a lot of hours.
I downloaded. I'm an idiot. I downloaded so much extra haircuts. I downloaded like 10 different curly haircuts and different colors and everything, and then different skin tones. It's like I did the same thing with The Sims when I was little. So mine was even longer because I had like so much extra content. Just because like everything's perfect. But I have naturally very curly hair, and I like to make my characters curly, and I always want like an extra 10, 20 curly options for me to pick from. But yeah, I did spend many hours. I had to mute at some point because it's weird. It's weird when it's your voice. Like it sounds
Hmm.
good, but it's me. No. There's also it's Down by the River. There's a version. There's a lyricless version of it. Who Are You, which is just vocals.
Yeah, yeah.
That one's also that one also repeats. So I think maybe that saves things from being too repetitive because there's a lyric version and there's just a vocal version and there's an instrumental version and there's like but everything like flows through the same melodies and the same leitmotifs.
Hmm. It's um it's something that's kind of cool because when you were saying that you downloaded a lot, I'm not sure if you heard, but mod support is officially coming from Larian to consoles and PC for all kinds of things. Um, so I'm super excited about what sort of mod support that we're going to be receiving and when, because I'm sure a lot of players are excited about the extra add-ons or um, changes that you can make to the characters. I am going to be blown away by just how many more options there will be, and now that it has official mod support, that's even better.
I think it's very logical that Larian has an official mod support. I think if any game would support the players adding content to it, it would be Larian maybe.
Yeah.
Because
Uh,
there's so much and people are just doing it. They're not getting any money for it. They're doing it because they love the game and they want to add to it.
well, it's kind of just like how Bethesda and Skyrim worked for a long time. A lot of the mods that are now official mods started off as community mods, and Bethesda just said, "Hey, those community mods are really, really cool. Can we make those official mods?" And it seems like Larian's pretty much doing the same thing. It gives longevity to the game even more so than it had originally, and it's just a smart thing to do.
Yeah, I'm currently my boyfriend wants me to play Skyrim because I've
Mm.
never played Skyrim for some reason. I've
You'll love
played
it.
a lot of RPGs. Well, he's currently modding it to make it like more, modern. And he's like adding all of these things like textures and everything just looks so different from, because he's showing he's like, oh look, I put these like pretty leaves for you, and I'm like, yeah, it's so cute. So everything's like I'm seeing it become more and more beautiful because of these like community mods
Mm.
and It's very cool. I don't know how I skipped that one. I played when I was a kid a lot of medieval fantasy. We had we had a family guild. We had a family guild in World of Warcraft. It was me, my dad, my uncle, and my aunt, and my cousin, and her cousin from another line of the family, and his parents, and we were like 8, 9 people from the same family. Like I was the youngest. Well,
Hmm.
sort of the youngest, and I was horrible. I had a troll. I was learning to play, but it was like a part of my childhood, and I don't know how I skipped Skyrim because it's
Like one of the RPGs.
like one of the RPGs. I played the Zelda games. I when my dad came from a tour somewhere, he's also a singer,
Yeah.
and he brought home an N64 with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and I think I've maybe played both of them like 25, 30 times. And now I want to get my hands on the remasters because they look super pretty.
Hmm.
But they're only on the 3DS, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe I'll buy the console just for those games, but I'm not gonna play anything else on it. But yeah, mods are cool,
Hmm.
and people keep updating them. And in 10 years, people are still gonna be creating mods to modernize the game and to add to it. So it's really cool.
Legend of Zelda is probably one of my all-time favorite game series. Um, my uncle, when I was 6 years old, my birthday present when I was 6 was an N64 and 5 games. I got an Ocarina of Time copy, um, and a couple of other my favorite games to this day still. Banjo Kazooie, one of my favorites. Um, but
I didn't have that one.
it's so good. It's so good.
I've watched people play it. It looks super fun.
It's
I had a weird there was a weird Castlevania for the N64, but it was like unrelated to the other games.
mm,
I don't know. It was odd. I had Doom for the N64.
Doom
That was
64. That's a classic. Yeah.
that was a really cool game. But yeah,
Um,
the
Majora's Mask is my favorite of all time. I've done 2 cosplays from Majora's Mask. Um,
really
I did Skull
did you
Kid.
did you do Skull Kid? Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
I did
I
Skull
knew.
Kid and I did Happy Mask Salesman.
Oh, he's super cool.
Would I be able to send you photos after the stream of those two? Would that be
Yes,
okay?
please.
Um,
Uh, I'm currently very uh, Malone. How is it in English? The
uh,
cowgirl.
oh, Malin.
Malin.
Yeah,
Ah,
from the Lon Lon Ranch.
yeah. We call her Malon.
Oh, really?
Sounds yeah, Malon. I don't
Hmm.
know in Bulgarian. Um, I really like Twilight Princess actually. Because it came out and I was a teenager and I was edgy, and Twilight Princess was like an edgy Zelda.
So Midna.
Midna,
Midna.
Midna as a human at the end of the game. Jesus,
I
beautiful.
I'm currently in the process of collecting retro games, and I just picked up Twilight Princess on the GameCube with Wind Waker. I am very, very, very pleased with that. Um, I just realized there are fan-made lyrics for Midna's Lament. Um, yeah, the incredible Midna's Lament song. Um,
I know
now,
there's fan made. If you can send me that, I know there's fan made lyrics to Song of Time, like day to night,
yeah,
for the sands of time.
hmm,
But I don't know. Is it on YouTube? Because Midnight's Lament is
yeah.
it's so good.
Now I need to hear you sing that. Oh my god,
Well,
that would be
I
incredible.
am. I want to do like covers of all of these things that I've always loved. On my YouTube, and I'm gonna find like people to collaborate with and to do instrumentals because that would be really cool. Um, I always I don't know, I think I manifested being part of this project because I always loved. I actually have on my YouTube from years ago, I have a cover that I did of Passing of the Elves from Lord of the Rings.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's the
yeah, yeah,
song. So it's the song that they sing when they pass to the other land, when they go to the forest.
yeah.
So I've always like really loved this genre, and I always wanted to do like all these covers on YouTube, and now people are doing covers of my of the thing that I sing, and it's like,
Hmm.
but
What do
yeah,
you
I would love to do.
have you seen covers of your songs? What do you think of them?
I love them. Let me check. Um,
I may or may not have also wrote a lot of fan made lyrics to Legend of Zelda songs, um,
cool.
way back in the day. Maybe 10 years ago, 8, 10 years ago. And my favorite one was always Song of Storms. I have a Song of Storms T-shirt. Song of Storms is just it's my song. I love it. um, so I spent a lot of time writing lyrics for that one. Um, I don't want to bother or annoy you, but
No, you can send them. Yeah,
I could.
yeah.
I may die a little on the inside, and I may cry if you end up using those at some point in a future
I would.
on
I
YouTube.
do want to make. I do want because I want to make covers of different game music, but also Legend of Zelda music. But Legend of Zelda music doesn't have a lot of lyrics
Yeah,
or at
it doesn't.
all.
Yeah, it's all
But
instrumentals.
yeah, but Legend of Zelda manages to make, I think, more than any other game, super memorable melodies using like 3 or 4 notes.
Yeah.
And there's like every game, there's a lot of them. It's not like one melody that's super memorable, and everything else uses that same note sequence. They're all different. You have, in Ocarina, you have all of the ones that you, or was that in Madras? The ones that you collected. You have
Um,
Song of Storms, Song of Healing,
yeah. I have fan made lyrics to
Epona
Song of
songs.
Healing. Yep.
Cool,
And I also did
cool.
Serenade of Water. Serenade of Water is super cool. That's
Serenade
the
of Water is,
yeah, the travel song.
yeah, it was super beautiful in Twilight Princess when you were following the queen, the Zora Queen.
Yep.
And she was beautiful, and she was dead, and she was trying to get you to help her child, and it was super emotional. Like, it's super emotional, yes, but they don't have lyrics, so everything else extra could help. Covers, I oh my goodness, so all of these women, or yeah, vocalists on YouTube, which I have heard and listened to since I was a child, and now they're like Maluka. Maluka wrote. She sent me a voice message, and she
Really?
sent me a voice, yeah, on Instagram, and I cried because I love her, and she sent me a to congratulate me that she loved like my work on the soundtrack, and I was like,
Oh my
my queen,
gosh.
my queen, my queen. Like, I am. This is enough. Like, if anything else happens, I'm gonna be happy. Future projects, they're gonna happen because I still have a voice, and I'm gonna have a voice for a long time. But I feel fulfilled.
Hmm.
She is
I
amazing.
she is. I met her in person, TwitchCon of 2017. She gave me an autographed CD. I still have it on my dresser over there, and I still have the photo. And it was the I had the best time. She is the absolute sweetest, and she's really, really, really good at what she does. And I first found out her with Skyrim covers. She did Skyrim
Yeah,
covers on YouTube back in oh, it must have been 2013, 2014. A couple
I
years after
heard
the
her
game came out.
voice. I just heard her voice. I think I did on E3. Oh no, E3, not E3. Game Awards.
Oh, Game Awards.
One of the games, the trailer had her. I know it was her voice, but I didn't see if it was one of the games. So she's currently also doing soundtracks for current games, which is really
That's
cool.
that's amazing. And Yeah, she also plays instruments as well.
Yeah,
Um,
that helps.
it does, yeah, because you get to add your own layers on top of what you want to have. And you play instruments too.
I well, I have this bouzouki that I got. It's like an Irish bouzouki.
Irish, yep.
Yeah, I strum on it. I can play enough to accompany myself while I'm singing,
Mm.
but I can't really do like super like complex things. But it's enough for like if I have to record something and I can record all the different things separately, I could.
Mm.
I studied when I was a child. I studied um, piano and guitar because well, for school and everything, I never went to music school.
Oh,
So no, in high school, I was in a mathematics high school and I studied computers. And in my free time, I went to the music school for lessons in piano and guitar and solfège. I don't know, not music theory, music theory and what do you call it? Notes.
oh,
We
that
call it
would just
solfège.
oh, so just notes and like reading music.
Yeah, just reading music.
So
So all that,
could be music theory, classically trained, that sort of thing.
yeah. So
Okay.
I got that by myself. And afterwards, I studied in university animation
Yeah.
and singing. I've only studied with my dad because he knows that I like a lot of different genres, a lot of different ways of singing, and he like gave me a specific technique that allows me to do all of these things without, you know, damaging my voice. And because a lot of people, if you sing classically, a lot of classical singers, they cannot sing pop. They cannot make their voice from head voice go down to their like throat, and they
Mm.
can't sing anything else. And since in Bulgaria we don't have a place where you only sing musicals or a place where you only sing this or you only sing that. You sort of have to be able to do a lot of things. And me, I'm doing opera, I'm doing musicals, and I'm doing soundtracks.
Mm.
So what he gave me, I felt that it was enough,
Mm.
and I didn't really. It would have harmed me to have go to conservatory and have like different people because there's like 5 people and all of them have different opinions on what technique you should sing with, and just having one person forever is the best thing you can do for yourself. And I
Mm.
had my dad, and he's also a gamer, so he understood when I started doing this. He was like, okay, yeah, I understand what you need, we're gonna work on that. So it was nice. But yeah, I all music education that I have, I got it myself through taking initiation and going to classes and studying. It was never official. Also, Bobby as well.
Mm.
He's self-taught completely, which
Really?
is
Wow.
yeah.
That's insane.
So it
Um,
all comes from within, and his hearing. Like
yeah.
he's born and he has the ear.
Yeah.
He has the special hearing to differentiate, to understand everything, to be able to like separate it into different pieces and understand what everything is.
Mm.
Super complex.
And that is something that you just can't teach that really. That's something you have to just have. Um, my grandma actually, she played organ um for many years, and she never did it with music sheets in front of her. She always just would just hit the keys a couple of times and she would go, "Oh, this is how you play that song." And she would just get it. That's it. Um and I kind of learned the same way. I learned without music sheets. Um so going from that to learning music sheets in like music school, that was a really big transition because it's like, whoa, all these notes are in front of me. I don't know what I'm doing. Um,
You went to music school, and what do you specialize in? Like, what is your
So I started off really, really early. I started off in school band. I played most of the brass instruments. I did baritone and tuba were the two that I focused on the most. Um, I went to a private school for piano. Um, Piano I got to learn quite a lot because I feel that piano is one of the better instruments to learn at first because not only do you have you have everything in front of you, but you also get to learn both your hands moving at the same time, and that is so transferable to pretty much every other instrument in existence. Um, so I feel like piano is one of the better instruments to learn at first. Um, and uh, bass guitar and drums were just kind of on my own time. That was not anything to do with school. That was um, picked one up at a music shop and kind of just used prior knowledge and put it together. That was about it. Um, for a while, I DJ'd at bars just for fun because I had like the ears for it, and um, the way that my instructor taught me, um, I asked him that I wanted to learn. I didn't know how it worked or anything like that. He says, "All right, cool. Come to a Halloween show that I'm doing. It's kind of just a small gathering and get together. I'll get you behind the table and we'll teach you a little bit." Halfway through the show, he says, "You want to learn how to do this?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Okay, do it." And then he walked off. Um,
Just left
he
you there.
yeah, he knew that I had soundboard knowledge as well. Like raising and lowering volume for bands. I've done that a couple of times. As well as I've done stage setups for bands before too. So he knew that I wasn't going to be screwed, but at the same time, it was kind of just, the push and swim kind of thing. Um, the second lesson was take two songs you've never ever heard before, use your ear to manually beat match both of them as close as possible. 1 BPM is fine, but if you match it perfectly, perfect. Do it without software. No technology in front of you, just your ears. And after about 3 hours and crying, I finally got it once. um,
It's this is like the universal musician experience when you're a kid. I had a little notebook, like literally for notes with
hmm.
the petulinia. I don't know how they are. And my piano teacher left me with them to like learn them and to study them. And when she came back, it was wrinkled, the paper, because there were little teardrops because I couldn't get it and I was crying on top of it. It was like the paper was like this.
Oh no.
Why do we cry? Why does music? Why? I don't
I
know.
I don't want to say perfectionism is attached to it, but like wanting to learn, well, maybe. Um, but like wanting to learn and like wanting to get it and understand, but when you're self-taught, it's really it's a challenge. Because you have to rely on yourself for that. You have to rely on either information finding what seems right to you, and you kind of just go from there. You're kind of swimming without a life jacket. Um, but yeah, the thing that he said was as soon as I got it, he said, "Congratulations, you're better than 90-95% of DJs that exist today because you can use your ears." Um, and I imagine that's transferable to music as well. Maybe not better, but being able to have that kind of ear for things and being able to piece together things musically. Congratulations, you have a Borislav. Um, and we all know just how amazing his work is, and he has a lot of drive. He has a lot of drive, um, a lot of passion. Uh, it's amazing to see um, artists putting themselves behind the work and really bringing that together. Um, a lot of times when the pressure is on, when the fire is underneath you and under your butt, that's when some of the best work can come together. And I feel that Borislav was kind of in that position. I saw in an interview he said that he was asked, "Did you want to give up?" And he just said, "I couldn't. I had no choice. I can't." And
Yeah, you had to do your. You have what is it? It's not a waiver.
yeah, yeah,
It's
it's
a yeah. It's your job.
yeah,
You're not like doing whatever you want. Yeah, you don't
yeah,
have a choice. You have to finish your work,
yeah.
and maybe sometimes that helps because you sort of detach yourself from the artistic point of it, and you're like, okay, this is a job. Like this is something technical that I have to do. I have to stop seeing it as like this great masterpiece and start seeing it as one of the many jobs that I'm gonna have in my life, and I need to like focus on different parts of it and finish it, and not think of it as this floating art, but as like a literal thing, physical in front of you.
I guess I kind of want to present the same question to you. Did you go through burnout, exhaustion phases, either um, musicals or even on Baldur's Gate? Was there a time that you felt that?
On Baldur's Gate, no,
Hmm.
because it's the type of music that I listen to, and it that it doesn't tire me at
Hmm.
all. Um, I get burnout from well, I haven't graduated film school, for example. It's been 3 or 4 years, and I have to make my like graduation film, and I just entered such a burnout state that now thinking about it makes me seize up, and I just ignore it. Not because I can't do it, because it's like from this dark period of my time, and I just cannot make myself. And I regularly have people waiting on me for projects. Um, not when it comes to, well, maybe when it's burnout. Burnout makes me procrastinate a lot, and I cannot make my brain work properly. I even like when friends even write me, um, I cannot make my brain. I have to wait a couple of days or maybe a couple of hours, and then I answer
Hmm.
because it just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't work properly. In musicals, it's the same at the end of it because it's like acting and dancing and singing and being in a character for so long. And there's so many people with so many different opinions of how you should play your character, and you have to stay true to it. And I have burnout. I had it before Baldur's Gate, and I still have it. And Baldur's Gate and everything surrounding Baldur's Gate is something that helps me get out of it slowly.
Hmm.
It it lifts the pressure and the like heaviness that I have. It makes me lighter.
Hmm.
It makes me feel like I'm not stuck. So I'm very grateful for that. Also, it came in a very like chaotic and emotional period of my life where I really needed something to focus on.
Hmm.
I needed a distraction. Like I summoned it and it came. So it did help me a lot.
So you found it helpful to kind of just put something, the chaotic period down for a bit and pick up something new and refreshing and something that was a breath of fresh air to you, um, something that was more enjoyable to you, maybe something that was just new, something that was up your
It's
alley.
it's something that you don't put so much effort in,
Hmm.
and yet what you receive is so much. Like the amount of comments I have everywhere, like on TikTok. I made a TikTok specifically to because the things were up on YouTube, and there were so many people commenting below, and I was like, oh, I want to like speak to all of these people because they're writing all of these really nice things.
Hmm.
So I made a TikTok to communicate, and people are like writing. So it's like thousands and tens of thousands of messages, and all of them I cannot. I don't remember reading anything negative. I don't remember reading any. Like, it's insane, and it's such a positive community, and it's people who are so grateful. They're grateful that this is happening, and they get to experience it, and they get to listen to it. It's different than anything else I've had, because like you work a stage or anything else that I've done, you work months or years on something, and then like the result is underwhelming. Even if it's good, people are like, oh, this is so good, and in a month they forget that it ever happened.
Mm.
And it took so much out of you, and this took so little out of me, and I'm still basking in the goodness of so many people who are enjoying it and are still writing me and telling me how much they loved it, and how I helped them, and how they love just listening to my voice while they were playing the game. It's good. Yeah, this is it. It makes everything else seem minuscule. Like, why was I worrying over all of this? Like, doesn't matter.
There's what's that saying? There's open doors everywhere. Sometimes doors close, sometimes doors open, and you just don't know what's on the other side of that door. Andrew and George, Raphael and Roland, they kind of said the same thing. They said when you're working all these months, years, however long it may be, you don't know what the result is going to be at the end of the day. You don't know how it's going to be received. You don't know just what is going to come of it. And I imagine that would be the same thing with the soundtrack.
For the soundtrack, maybe if you ask Ilona about it, because she was part of it for 3 or 4 years. For me, I knew it was going to be like the early access was already out. I personally didn't play it, but I saw people playing it, and I saw what it looked like, and I knew it's a huge medieval fantasy RPG, which is so like detailed. Everything's like taken care of. I know this is going to be. I know the type of people that are going to be really interested, and I know how many people are waiting for something like this since Dragon Age and The Witcher, and recently such a big tradition. Oh, it's not very. It's a traditional medieval fantasy D&D RPG, and this is exactly what people have asked for, and they've got like different versions of it, but not exactly this.
Yeah.
So when I went into the project, maybe because I've also played a lot of games, so I understood the scale of it. I knew it was going to be very well. Like, I knew a lot of people were going to play it. I know a lot of people would want to play a game like this. A game of the year, etc. No, I didn't. I didn't know. I didn't expect that. Yeah, speaking of time zones, we watched Game of the Year live with a studio here in Bulgaria. They invited me, so I went there and we were watching it live, but it's in Bulgaria. So it was from, I think from 9 o'clock in the evening to 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, we had like a fridge full of Red Bulls. And at the end of it, the hosts, like there were other like game streamers, Twitch users who were more famous, like different people in this area, and all of us, like there was this big couch, and at the beginning we were like discussing, this game. Well, actually, we were discussing how many trailers they were and how little content regarding the actual Game Awards there was. I think it was a bit excessive, but that's fine. And at the end, like the last few hours of this stream, because it's online, all of us are like dead. All of us are, someone's sleeping. 2 people are outside. Smoking. Yeah, because I'm also laying on one of the pillows, and everybody's looking at different directions. None of us are even paying attention to what's going on because it's 6 o'clock in the morning and we're dead. at this point. But yeah, we handle it sort of. So yeah, the different time zones are weird. But I think maybe it was because you're from what city do you live in?
I'm in Canada, so I'm in central Canada,
Oh,
right in the middle of Canada, basically.
Canada. You have Bicoline. What was it called? Do you know that one?
No.
Oh, it's a huge LARP village where they make
Oh,
this.
yeah.
It's the biggest. I think it's the biggest one in the world. And I go to LARPs, but here in like around Bulgaria and they're smaller scale. But I've seen the one in Canada, and it's like the whole village is made like with the medieval houses and everything, and the event is huge. Yeah, you guys have cool things.
So, live action role play stands for LARP.
Yeah.
How have I never heard of that? It might be Toronto. Is it Toronto? Maybe. I feel like it's
Let me
Toronto.
check. Um,
Toronto always has everything massive.
it's in address is Saint Matthew du Parc, QC. What
QC.
is
Oh, that's Quebec City.
Ah, it's
That's
in La Mauricie. Oh my God, this is horrible. National Park.
Hmm.
I see through three rivers.
Yeah, Trois Rivera. It's Three Rivers. Yeah.
Trois River. Yeah, it's near this. So it's near Quebec. It's
It's
between Quebec and Montreal. Is that
um
how you pronounce them?
Montreal?
Montreal. It's
Yeah.
between Montreal and Quebec.
Quebec City.
Quebec. Quebec City. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's between the two.
so that's gonna be all the way out east from me. That's like right above York and such.
Oh yeah, Canada is bigger than three Europes or three Europes, I think. So
Canada is
yeah,
huge.
Canada is huge,
Hmm. But
and it's a lot of frozen wasteland.
yeah, you're not wrong. Um I live in one of the coldest cities, not only in Canada but in the world. Um Sadly it's been very warm outside this winter, but I'm not sure if you use Celsius. I think you do, but it can get anywhere between -40, -50 Celsius commonly throughout the winter time, and it's not comfortable at all.
I just opened. I had on YouTube covers opened.
Oh, you're looking up
There's one by
covers?
Scar Productions by Down by the River. It's a metal cover, which this one's like super epic.
Mm.
I watched it. The Rachel Hardy one is beautiful because she's amazing. She's such a professional. I love her. Hopefully we're gonna do something together at some point
Mm.
because we like randomly commented on each other's TikToks and we're like, oh, duet when, collab when, and I'm just waiting for that to happen. This YouTuber Hildegard von Blinging, she does the
What? Did
she
she do
does the
Down by the
Bard,
River?
yeah, and she does the Bard covers of different pop songs.
Oh,
So
wow.
she's like the Bard queen, and the way that she sings, it's very beautiful, medieval. It's very traditional,
Mm.
and it's hers are always beautiful, and her version of Down by the River is stunning. And there's just a lot of them. They're endless. I love them.
I like hearing them in different genres. You mentioned metal. Different genres are always interesting on how um um like people's different takes on them when applying a different genre. Um, Metal tracks, even if you want to bring it down to like bard tracks, that's fun. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. I really like Jonathan Young. I've listened to Jonathan Young for many, many
He,
years.
he does great Disney villain covers. He has a whole album which is villains,
When I
and he
listen to
has
Poor Unfortunate Souls, I listen to that for. I still listen to it to this day, at least once a day. It's probably one of my favorites.
mine by him is "Trust in Me," the Ka song
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
from Jungle Book, because it's
Yes.
so sultry and um, sort of erotic. I don't know. It's weird. It's luring you in. He's great, and what he has one by, I think he had Jonathan Young has a "Down by the River" cover. Wait,
I know he did he collabed with someone for Raphael's final act, I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive he collabed with, I forgot his name because I don't listen to that person, but I'm near positive that he did
I
Raphael's
think he
final.
has. I think what he does is he creates.
Star
Um,
Productions. That's who we did it with.
he Yeah, Jonathan. I don't see the. I think he does songs inspired by the characters.
Hmm.
Let's try. Oh, Jonathan Young.
He did that with someone named
Yeah.
Star Productions. That was a
Yes.
good one.
Yes. Scar Productions has. Yeah, I see it. Raphael's Final Act. Jonathan Young and Scar Productions. I've seen. I'm gonna see this one, but this guy, Scar Productions, he has a Down by the River cover,
Hmm.
and I know him from there. He's great as well.
That's the neat part about collaborations. You get to hear people that you may not have heard otherwise, unless those collabs happen. I would
Yeah, it's people
honestly,
exchanging audiences.
yeah, yeah, you get to share between. I would probably go nuts if I saw a collab with you and Malika and yourself and Violet Orlandi. I would die.
I would die. I would die, and hopefully it's gonna happen. I just need to I need to fix my home studio setup because currently I have this Focusrite Scarlett home studio thingy.
Oh, mixer
Um, yeah, it's the mixer and the
interface.
microphone
Yeah.
in these headphones, and it can, I can work with it. But when it comes to working with people like this, I know that I need to get better setup.
Hmm.
Um, because I don't feel comfortable like working in like renting a studio and working with these different people who I don't even know them, and I would I would also like to just work from home and
Hmm.
not go out and do everything here. So I need to work on that. I need to work on the setup, and I do want to do the collabs, all of the collabs, and all of the covers and everything, because I love cover artists, and I love having your own take on iconic music.
Yeah, and we get to see it with not only, people doing their takes on YouTube, but we get to see bands doing covers as well. The one that really spoke to me was when Disturbed did Sound of Silence. Um, that was one of the biggest ones that I heard while I was at work, and I needed to take my lunch break then and there to just listen to the track as soon as it dropped because, oh my god. um, I will absolutely send you lyrics to three Legend of Zelda songs that I've done
Yes, please.
previously. I think you might like it. I hope so. I really like to work with syllables to try to make the syllables exact, and that's really like what I hone in on the most. Because on some covers, I notice that sometimes syllables are incorrect, and it can kind of throw off the way that you have to approach the song, and I don't really like that much. So syllable work, that's a lot of fun, but definitely helps out, I
It,
think.
they help when you sing, and your words are very rich.
Hmm.
It helps the sounds come out better
Hmm.
when the language flows. Which is why I will never sing in German in my life. Wagner, however he is in English, bane of my existence. He does these 5-hour operas like the Valkyrie or
Oh
whatever.
my
It's
God.
you sing in German for 5 hours, and it's like the way that it comes out. It hurts my brain. It hurts my voice. But a lot of people love doing that. They're masochists for some reason. But yeah, the language itself, English, Italian, Spanish, these are such easy languages to sing with because they're musical.
Hmm.
They have music in them.
Yeah.
English is a very easy language to. I think that's why, also because it's a universal language, but because it's so easy to sing in,
Hmm.
that's why so many artists from all around the world do songs in English.
Hmm.
The other one is that it's going to be more accessible, it's going to be more popular when you do it in English, but it's a lot of vowels in
Yeah.
English. It's not a hard language like in Bulgarian. There's a lot of consonants and they're all hard. Everything's
Yeah.
hard. It's a very soft language, and it opens the throat. Everything's always inside. And when I talk in Bulgarian, my voice goes down and it's lower even.
Hmm.
And when I talk in English, here the whole, like when you sing, you make this like a church, the top of the church, which is like this upside down bowl thing. This is what happens in your head, and here is where the resonance happens. So
Yeah.
when I speak in English, this happens, and when I speak, my face vibrates. So the language itself, because of the way that I pronounce the words, they vibrate in my head because there's this bowl inside, and everything's like sliding off it. So yeah,
It's
music,
probably
voice.
it's probably easier to round vowels as well. That's something that you would probably be taught in if you're classically trained, rounding the vowels. And um it sounds like the way you're describing how English is, it's very centered, um
Mhm.
which probably lets you um be able to just sing the words, be able to get behind them, you play with them, sing it the way that you want to, that's comfortable for you. Rounding vowels, enunciation, I imagine that's probably a lot easier.
Yes.
um Italy itself has a music culture that is absolutely mind-blowing, and I really want to visit one day because just being able to take in like live music in Italy would be a dream come true to me. They have quite a rich history and culture musically, and um, that would be a dream vacation for me one day to just be able to take that in person.
It's a lot for you. It's like what, 20, 15 hours?
Yeah, it'll be quite a flight. I would probably have to, yeah, I would have to fly all the way across Canada and maybe get a connecting flight in the States, and then it's all the way across the ocean. And oh, that would
And then you
be,
go to France, and
yeah,
from France you go down to Italy. Yeah.
yeah, that'll be
Um,
fun.
I'm gonna be there.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm annoying you. In next month, I think, or April.
in April? Oh my
April,
goodness.
yeah. In Sardinia, me and Ilona and Borislav we're gonna go there for a concert to sing
Oh,
some Baldur's Gate stuff.
that's right. I heard about that. I am so excited. Um I hope it gets posted all over the internet so I can partake. I would really, really love to just sit back one night and just listen.
They usually record the concerts, and hopefully they're gonna upload them.
I would love that.
Um, yeah, and I, I, well, for now we've had like the first one we had was like a more uh of an event for people in the industry, but I want like a big event which is open to the public so that I can meet people in real life and talk to them and like everybody who's writing all these nice things and meet the fans of the game and the audience. It will be cool. So hopefully soon, because this is a cool thing to have. This is a type of music that will sound great in a concert, in a live concert,
Yeah, absolutely. Um,
with a
I
big symphonic orchestra and everything.
full stage. Um, I attended back in, oh goodness, probably 2016. It was called Video Games Live. It was a Canada-wide tour um, with live symphony orchestra for video game tracks, just of all different kinds of games in one night. Um, and being able to hear, Legend of Zelda tracks, Final Fantasy tracks, live with an orchestra, full orchestra, that was an experience I will never forget. They had they did a costume contest. I entered. Um, I won. That was an experience. Um, got to see someone named Jason Page. He sings the original Pokemon theme song. That was neat. Yeah, yeah. He was the one who was behind the show. That was, yeah, an experience I will never forget. And if Baldur's Gate does a version of that, um, people will never forget that either. That'll be an experience that will someone will be able to
It's
take home with them, and it won't leave.
it's usually with the soundtrack. It's like its own separate thing, and it's venues and companies and orchestras who invite
Yeah,
Borislav probably. They're like, oh, we want to do like a concert of your music. And sometimes they use their own, like, the way that they use all of their instruments, they also use their own vocalist.
yeah,
And sometimes they use the original vocalists, and we travel and we go there. And oh, it's always, I wouldn't say that it's nicer with us because everybody's like all of the people that sing in these concerts are super good.
hmm.
But I don't know. I think the way that me and Ilona sing, it's more specific. So it would be. I mean, we had one concert for now, and I think we both sound on stage live pretty much the same as in the recordings, which is cool.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, hopefully a lot of concerts. But it has to be no, it has we have to be invited. So yeah, this whole thing is, oh, it's better to have people take care of that and for us musicians to just relax and do our little music stuff and have everybody else organize all of this.
Hmm.
So yeah, hopefully. And something overseas would also be cool.
Yeah, to do a North America tour. Have you traveled to North America at all?
No,
No? Oh my goodness.
no, I haven't been across the ocean. I don't know what I would do on a 20-hour flight. I cannot sleep upright, so I would need to like
You would
I
need one of
need
those pods. They have
yeah, I need one of those spots.
yeah.
Usually, if you're invited by someone, they cover your tickets,
Yeah.
so you can be like, "Oh, I need a bed," and they'd be like, "Okay, yeah, sure." If I have to pay for it myself, I would have to be in the luggage compartment
Hmm.
to be able to afford that flight. Um, but yeah, I would love to. Um, Maybe if there are other also at Game Awards, it's cool to like something like what they did with Final Fantasy for the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Um, that was really beautiful. That was beautiful. And that vocalist, she has such a sweet voice. Um, Final Fantasy music. I love Kingdom Hearts. I'm more of a Kingdom Hearts fan.
Yeah, yeah. Another
I have
classic right there.
yeah, it's by the same company, of course, but I prefer that series. I had a I had a huge crush on Axel when I was a teenager. Like the fiery redhead pyromaniac. I was like, yes, this is the ideal man for me. But I loved all of them. I am opera stage musicians, like performers. We are, I don't know how it's called in English, but in Bulgarian it's smacked in the mouth because we just say stupid stuff constantly and we don't have a filter. Um, but yes, and that series also has a lot of really beautiful melodies. Um, and it has some lyric songs which I have stuck in my head still. What was it? When you walk away, you don't hear me say please. That was simple and clean. Yeah, I have a little Spotify playlist with all of these random songs that have stuck in my head since I was a child. Most of them are from video games. Some of them are from films. But films usually have one banger, like one song that's like super memorable, and the rest of the soundtrack is a bit forgettable.
It's kind of just, it's there.
It's there. Yeah, it exists.
Speaking of different game series, is there any game series that you would like to be officially a part of?
Yes. I want to sing in a Witcher game.
You want to sing it? Oh my gosh, yes. I could see that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I love the soundtrack of The Witcher 3, also the DLCs. It's
Blood and Wine and
Blood and Wine, and my favorite one is the theme of Gaunter Odim. Like the little weird nursery rhyme that the children sing about him. Like, oh, he's gonna seduce you, and then he's gonna take everything from you, and he's gonna leave you for dead in the pits of hell forever. And it's super creepy. It varies. It's so different. It has so many different flavors. The Witcher soundtrack. It's not just one melody throughout. It's super diverse. It's very diverse. So The Witcher I would love. And any medieval fantasy. I love medieval fantasy. I think that's what my voice fits into the most. I also in LARP I play as an elf, obviously. So all of these like ethereal, elvish, bard songs. This is what I want to be doing. And I think I would be up for any medieval fantasy RPG or single player game or whatever. I just love the world of it. It feels like home.
it's going back to The Witcher, I think everybody ever has heard toss a coin to your Witcher. That's just one that is always going to stick with pretty much most people, I feel.
And then Rachel Hardy's cover of it on YouTube is
crisp.
It's beautiful. Dragon Age Inquisition had a lot of good songs. Sarah's theme. Sarah was never an agreeable girl. That one's really good. It has a lot of good bard songs because because there was a lot of taverns, and I remember always the bards were singing something different. So they had a very good variation of lyric bard songs there. There's going to be a new one soon, so I'm excited about that.
They
Especially
were.
because I romanced Solus, and
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna be the main bad, and I'm like, do I have to kill one of my 1 million husbands? It's gonna be hard.
You can just stop before that boss fight, and that could be the end of the game there.
Yeah, like the meme where they just close the laptop and they're like, oh, I love how this ends.
Yeah, my
It's the
favorite.
perfect ending.
It's great.
Yes.
um, Legend of Zelda, I could definitely see for sure. Made callbacks to that.
Maybe in the I have not played Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom yet because I don't have a
which
3DS. I don't have a Switch yet.
hmm,
And I tried to do something with an emulator for my laptop, and
hmm,
I didn't manage to do it. But I really wanted to play them,
hmm.
so I'm just gonna have to invest in a Switch, especially because now there's 2 games. Because I always for Zelda, I have I bought a GameCube just for the Zelda games. I bought GameCube, and the only games that I bought from it were Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
Yep.
Nothing else. And then I bought the Wii for Skyward Sword,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing else. So I just buy these consoles just for the Zelda games. So I just buy the Zelda games with the consoles, and I don't play anything else for them. And now for the Switch, I was like, I'm not gonna do it. But now there's 2 Zelda games for the Switch.
So it
So
seems more worthwhile.
it's more worthwhile. So I'm gonna do it because they seem beautiful and they seem very different.
Yeah.
They're more open world RPGs, and I think lyric soundtracks would fit them.
Yeah.
Maybe better than the last ones. So maybe if they also add something like that, I would love to. But yeah, it's a new industry for me.
Hmm. I'm the same way. I have a GameCube in arm's reach of me. I have my Twilight Princess and Wind Waker on my shelf over there. Um, I have my Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, Link to the Past in box on my shelf over there. Yep. Legend of Zelda everywhere. Um, but I took a glance over at my shelf over there, and I saw Chrono Trigger, and Chrono Trigger, Chrono
This
Cross,
is one with the.
also
I don't
kind of
know. I
Final
haven't.
Fantasy esque
Yeah.
style game. Um,
Okay.
definitely definitely something that I wish that they had more of because they made a release on the DS, but that was discontinued unfortunately. But another really good series there that I think needs a lot more love. I think. Um, Dragon Age though, Dragon Age you mentioned a few times now, and um, I played Dragon Age Origins like as soon as it came out on the 360. Dragon Age 2, and Inquisition had to get that right away. I have the entire set in another shelf over there. Retro heaven here is what I want to end up doing with the room. But Dragon Age is very, um, very in the realm of Baldur's Gate. And like you were mentioning, people were looking for something like Baldur's Gate, Dungeons and Dragons.
Elf racism. Elf racism. Oh my god. You have elf racism in both games, I think.
In
Do you?
in yeah. Trying to
That's
think.
like the staple medieval fantasy RPG is everybody hates elves. It's like
Yeah, there's even different backgrounds that you can choose for elves in Dragon Age games as well. And there was a lot of hatred towards elves in I believe Origins actually especially.
it adds realism.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody has to be hated.
Not everyone's gonna be liked, and they always choose elves for some reason. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, people were looking for turn-based combat styled Dungeons and Dragons, uh, things where your choices actually matter. That's important. Um, a lot of times when games have choice attached to them, it's sometimes it's railroaded, like it forces you in one direction anyways. But if you want to do said action, you can do said action, but there's going to be consequences for it.
I remember playing Dishonored, and
Hmm.
always like I I was I would absolutely go a zero kill, sometimes zero detection if I was good enough. But I was so afraid of killing people because I knew that the plague was gonna spread and everything was gonna go to hell. And that was the game where I was like, I cannot, even if I want to, even for the fun of it, I cannot play as the bad guy. Like everything needs to be non-lethal. I need to be like super good so that I get the outsider's approval because he's super cool, but also for the good ending. Like I love it when the game makes you feel bad for your bad
When
decisions
they
and
call
for
you
being
out.
they're like, oh, you did this, but now there's plague everywhere, and yeah, you saved your daughter, but she's going to rule over a kingdom of corruption. And or even if you do, sometimes it's like, oh, she died also, by the way. Yeah, your daughter. So this is what you get. But turn-based, I had never played a turn-based game in my life before.
Oh wow.
No, I don't know how I missed them.
Hmm.
I think in Inquisition there was a turn-based mode during fights sometimes, but it was like only optional. You could not do it. And this was the first time, and I thought that it was going to be very weird and that it was going to break my immersion, but it didn't.
Hmm.
Um, it was very well, maybe because it's some sort of fusion between the two, because it's not 100% turn-based. There's also an option where you control your character and you with the WASD buttons, I think, and not just pointing them into a direction. So it's like mm, it's a fusion between different types of gameplay. But yeah, turn-based is actually interesting. It's interesting because you can plan out everything. It's a lot more strategic.
Yeah. And I think that's where Baldur's Gate kind of reached out to a lot of people. It was a callback for people who did play a lot of turn-based combat games back in the day. You know, your Final Fantasy, old school Final Fantasies. Um, I mentioned Chrono Trigger earlier, and um, at the same time, I've seen a lot of people say, "Hey, turn-based combat is not for me," but Baldur's Gate is like the exception to that. Like, it's okay. Um, it doesn't, affect me or anything. And it's really, really cool to see both sides of that circle kind of just being able to be drawn together to Baldur's Gate because um, the turn-based combat is not a deterrent where it would be otherwise to some folks that just don't like turn-based combat games. It's really interesting to see that they were able to capture both audiences quite well. Um,
They captured all audiences
yeah,
quite well. It's just it's very specific, so you would expect that it's something that a very specific group of people enjoy. But it's such a I don't know, it's so universally liked. It's weird. Oh, it's not weird because like World of Warcraft, I remember when I was a child and I was playing it, and the world was full. It was stacked. You couldn't move from people. Like, how are so many people playing this game and so many people are loving it and enjoying it?
hmm. Yeah, it's back in the day it was World of Warcraft and RuneScape. Those are the two main things that people went on their computers or on their computers for. It was those are the two main draws. Sometimes both at the same time. It feels bad for their sleep schedule if they played both at the same time, but um, usually one was a full time job by itself. Um, Grinding for dungeons or resources or um, trying to get max stats and everything in RuneScape. That was the time period back then. Um, yeah, you mentioned a lot of medieval fantasy. You said that you started early, and you said it was your dad who got you into them, your father.
Well, it was easy, I suppose, the same way that everybody does. He just made me watch The Lord of the Rings, and that's it. I was he didn't really need to do anything else.
Hmm.
Um, he did that, and he got me into World of Warcraft with the rest of the family. But Lord of the Rings is just the origin of everything. I think everything starts from there. Everything is in some way, intentionally or not intentionally, in the medieval fantasy genre, just inspired by that, by Lord of the Rings,
Hmm.
I think. I also love the 80s medieval fantasy movies, like what was the one, Willow with the dwarf, or Princess Bride.
Oh yeah.
They're like super whimsical, and the effects are weird. Um, I don't know. It's nostalgic because it's sort of like 50% of it comes from our history,
Hmm.
and 50% of it comes from our brain's fantasy land. So it's not completely same way that sci-fi is famous. And it's interesting is because it's our world in, like, medieval fantasy is our world in the past, but in a parallel world, and sci-fi is our world in the future, but also it's probably not going to look like that, so it's different. So it's familiar, and you feel a certain nostalgia towards it,
Hmm.
and it's familiar because it's our past, but it's also familiar because it's the fantasy land that most of us live in our brains.
Hmm.
So I think medieval fantasy is the genre that people, when they're really into it, they feel like they belong there. They
Hmm.
feel like they should have. This is the world where they should have been born in, and this is something that they. And when you're really into it, real life gets a bit dull. So you turn to escapism, escapism,
Yeah, yeah.
which is what. Yeah. So I spend most of them. I'm either playing games or I'm going to LARPs or Renaissance festivals or all of these. And I surround myself with other people who feel the same way, who need to live in Delulu land. I don't know. But yeah, Lord of the Rings started everything. The soundtrack there is
Hmm.
it's it's so special.
Hmm.
Um, it's unlike anything else that I've heard. Still, it's its own thing, just like everything that has anything to do with that movie. Um, I got into. Oh, I haven't really gotten so much into D&D because I started a campaign with some friends when I started working for Baldur's Gate. I always knew about it from LARP and from people who go to LARP, and also from being online so much. I remember watching the Guild on YouTube, which was like YouTube series about these nerds who all like play games, or I don't remember if it was games or D&D online. And so I tried. I started because I wanted to like know more about it, but then work happened and I haven't actually been able to. But it sounds like LARP, but it's in a room. So you
Yeah,
don't have to like be running around the woods and scraping your legs on twigs and bushes.
yeah,
It's a
it's
lot of
tabletop version of it. Um,
mm-hmm.
Playing character, put a voice behind your character. It's a lot of fun. It's
Jameson the Warlock. D&D and fantasy stuff in general is a major comfort thing for me. After a stressful week at work, I look forward to D&D to escape everything. Yeah, it helps cope with reality in general, which is very stressful for people who were born to frolic in the woods, and we have to have jobs and we have to like be normal modern humans. So it's necessary. I think I don't understand people who don't use some some form of escapism to wind off.
mm,
But I suppose like they do their own thing, like going out and stuff. I don't know. But I think it's vital to,
escapism can take different forms.
yeah, one of them is playing Baldur's Gate 3 5 times, as you said you have.
Slightly called out there, but I will take it. Yep, you're right.
No, you're right. If I had, if my computer could run it, I probably would have been on my third, because I always want to romance everyone because I'm like, oh, I chose this one, but what if the other one, like Gale, he's so cute, but Astarion, like everybody's in love with him, so there must be something. I personally don't feel like I would be able to be in a relationship with him because he's a bit, I don't know, the way that he is. But then the druid, he's a bear. Oh my god, he's
Awesome.
like 7 feet tall. Um, but Karlach, she's amazing. I want to see what it's like with like having this beautiful romance with her as well.
Mm.
And I'm like, I always feel like I'm missing out if I choose someone, and I have to like try all of them. So I would also probably have like 4 to 5 playthroughs if I had the time, which I probably would. I often sacrifice sleep for.
The night owl in you.
Yeah, yeah. It's not as necessary. I can still sing, so it's fine.
Do you do any streams when you play?
Uh, no. Should I? Is it fun?
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun.
All right, I would.
You definitely should.
I'm currently playing Dead Space
Mm.
and Dead by Daylight. I
Oh,
love that one.
that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm currently in a uh, horror genre phase. I would love to play. I have an Epic Game Store. There was a free, like you could get Alien Isolation for free. So I have that one, and I would love to play that one.
Mm.
But yes, I would. I don't know. I haven't thought about it, but I do play. So why not stream and communicate with people while I'm doing it? That would be fun.
You need any assistance on that, feel free to reach out. I can definitely do my best to assist.
I would need some assistance maybe at the beginning because I don't know how it works. But yeah, I would be happy to reach out.
And if there's ever a co-stream in the future, co-op style game, I would also extend the hand to play sometime. you would
Yes,
like?
that would be fun.
That would be a lot of
Yes.
fun.
Let me find the Baldur's Gate 3 Symphony of Sin is what it's called.
That's what it was called. Okay.
It's Baldur's Gate 3 Symphony of Sin. There's also one for Divinity Original Sin 2, by
Ooh.
the way. I think they're both from the same festival in Poland, and it's 40 minutes. It's
Oh wow.
40 minutes of music. There's just instrumental parts, there's choir parts, uh, there's just vocal parts as well. So these are Baldur's Gate. Yeah, I sent them. You can listen to them. So it's like 2 hours of music if you want to do that while you're doing something else.
If a 2 to 4 minute track can last me 6 or 7 hours, what is 40 minutes of music gonna do for me? Thank you so much. That'll be probably dedicated to an entire day or two.
It's all
um,
things you've heard, just in a different form.
I different genres, different forms, different perspectives. It's always fun to see how people um put their takes on it and put their spins on it. That's where um the rise of cover artists come from, and it's being able to present something um sometimes the original artist doesn't think of. Sometimes it's them wanting to just do it in their style. It's a lot of fun
Mm-hmm.
to see what people come up with. I've been noticing that Borislav's been really enjoying the covers as well. I've seen on his Twitter. He made an entire Twitter post on cover artists and his favorites. So it was really nice to see that he enjoys them too.
Yeah, I see, because I open them and I always see, in YouTube, I open them and I always see him in the comments.
Yeah,
So he's very supportive of them, because it's his art and people are loving it so much that they want to recreate it in their own way. It's
mm.
like the ultimate form of flattery, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's better than any award you can get.
It makes it so that it has longevity. It makes the music continue on throughout the years. Because I imagine that there's going to be covers of this years in the future still. We're just seeing a big wave of them coming out now, and I imagine that covers are going to be happening years in the future. Um, Collaborations on them, even. Uh, it's going to be nice to see just how people will break them down and put it in their style. I'm very, very excited to see that.
Yeah, I'm excited to do that.
I was really tempted to bust out my grandma's organ and try Raphael's final act on it.
Her
Give it a
what?
whirl. Her organ.
An organ?
Yeah, she has she played for many years, and she still has it somewhere. And I have
That
to
is,
talk to
what
her
do you
about
mean
that.
somewhere? That is a big instrument. You
It
can't
is.
just
I don't know where she put it.
Oh my God.
I don't know where she put
We
it.
we have very few of those in Bulgaria. We have them in just a couple of Catholic churches, like the
Yeah.
big ones.
Oh, the giant
Uh,
ones. Oh.
yeah, they're unnecessarily big. Oh, you can play Davy Jones's theme on that, like the Lockhart melody. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why my mind went straight to Pirates of the Caribbean, but that's where it drifted off to. Um,
Well, yeah, that's exactly it.
yeah.
Also, the scene where he plays this melody on his organ
Hmm.
with his tentacles. It's,
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. That was in. Wasn't that in one of the earlier films?
oh, I first three films are like one story continuous.
Yeah.
I think the fourth and fifth are like their own thing.
Yeah, they came out
I
with
think
others.
it's well, Davy Jones is in the second one, Dead Man's Chest, and the third one, At World's End. So it's in one of those.
So not
But
Black
he's
Pearl.
such
Okay.
No, not Black Pearl. He doesn't appear then. But this is such a good trilogy, and it's soon it's gonna be summer, which is the time where you watch Pirates of the Caribbean.
Hmm.
Because all of these marathons, like Harry Potter, is in winter because it's such a
Yeah.
Christmas, like you watch them then. Lord of the Rings for me is always in spring because everything's super green and super beautiful.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean is a summer film because you go to the beach and you feel like a pirate and whatever. Also, it just fits the vibe.
Hmm.
Autumn, I don't know. You just watch horror movies
Yeah.
in autumn.
You could
So
just put
yeah,
in any horror film in there, and you could fill that space for September, October.
yes.
Hmm. Um, yeah, so Lord of the Rings was always really special to me too. I have a friend and his brother. They used to live in New Zealand. Um, and they were around the time period when Lord of the Rings was filming. So, the person that I'm friends with, Simon, his brother played in Lord of the Rings. He was one of the soldiers in the first film, and then both of them moved to Canada, where I live now. And his brother got to take his soldier set from the movies with him, and I got to see his set from the film. Um, Super duper cool. One of my favorite moments of all time. Um, he was one of the many soldiers that was in the first film. Um, I'll have to rewatch exactly to see where it is, but it was definitely a piece to behold, like right in front of me, like Lord of the Rings.
There's a lot of extras there, and there's a lot of these big scenes, and I suppose that was an opportunity for a lot of people to be a part of a project like this. Because even this, like even doing anything, being a part of this is so big, whatever that part was,
Hmm.
because it's eternal. It's gonna be forever. This is one of the things that's gonna be.
Back to the
People are
timeless
gonna be obsessed.
comment.
Yeah, timeless. People are gonna be obsessed with this till the end of time.
Yeah. And it's only in, the first couple of years of being released. Imagine when people pick it up for the first time in a couple of years, it's going to go through a cycle again where it's going to hit peak again, and then um it might mellow out a little bit again, and but then it'll hit another peak. Um it's always going to have waves, but it's always fitting in the timeless circle. Raphael's
Yeah,
final
there's
act
gonna
by
be
itself.
Raphael's final act is hopefully, yeah, but it is timeless. The melody is timeless. There's nothing like specific to this period currently that I can gather from it. That this is popular now. It's not. This isn't even popular now,
Yeah.
and it's still super popular. So it doesn't follow modern standards of music of what's popular music currently, and people are loving it. So it's gonna work.
And it's kind of a different way of going about, because um it has two different approaches in the same song. It starts off in the minor key with you. It starts off G minor, and
Mm-hmm.
Raphael he, he kicks it up a notch to major. I believe he's in B flat major. And for those that may not know at home, minor and major are keys that are um minor keys are usually in the slower, sometimes sadder, sometimes down, and major are always the exciting. You want to, like the major key. It's happy, it's uplifting, it's forefront. It's got performance to it, and that's Raphael. He's definitely in a major key. So being able to switch between both of them back and forth is super duper cool. It's very creative how that was uh, that was done. And The primary notes, from what I see, from picking it apart, it's the G minor start, and then it goes back to the C minor, which is also down by the river, but it's played in a different way. There's D minor and also E flat, and this has a lot of, when played on the organ, it's very sinister. It's very um, got a lot of doom to it, like I mentioned earlier. It's um, interesting how that approach was taken. Um, and how yeah, how creative Borislav got with it, and then you attach vocals to it, and all of a sudden, your jaw drops and your heart skips beats, and it's going to be talked about forever.
It is. It is. Do you have final questions for me?
I do. I know
Because
it's
it's
getting
gonna
late
be
for you.
1:30.
Oh my
It's
lord.
yeah, no, it's fine. But if there is anything else that you want to ask, I would love to answer. And we will probably keep in contact afterwards because yeah,
I have
I'm gonna need help with stuff, and you need to send me the lyrics to the things.
I have lyrics for you. I have cosplays for you, and
Yes.
um, future streams. Great question, by the way.
I would love to see the Skull Kid one.
The Skull Kid one was a lot of fun. That one took a long time. It everything was right from scratch and built up from there. It's hand painted. That,
Right.
that took a while. um, I guess the final question is, well, I have two, if I may.
Of course.
Um, do you have advice for up and coming singers? Someone who would want to perhaps be in your position now, that has perhaps never done anything before. Would you have any advice for them?
Yes. Two things. First, uh, don't try to sound like different people,
Mm,
because the projects that matter are trying to find someone who sounds very specific. So you have a specific voice to yourself. Find that and work on that, and make sure that that is very heard every time. Every time you sing, people are like, yeah, this is this person, and this is their voice, and this is how they sound. Not that I have like the most unique voice, but this helped me. And second thing, have an online presence, regardless if it's something that you don't think is super great. Because even if it's something that afterwards you're gonna upload something like a couple of months later and it's gonna be better, it's good for people to see the progress as well. So don't be afraid to post your art, post your music as a vocalist, post like have recordings of even if you don't have like performances that you can record, do covers. Because I personally got where I am from like stage work and those things being uploaded online, but a lot of other musicians that I know started off doing covers on YouTube, and
mm,
that got them into, at the beginning they did covers, which got them a lot of traction and got them a lot of popularity. A lot of people knew about them, and that from that they pretty much all of them that I know of currently work on soundtracks. Their voice is used in games. I know Rachel Hardy is working on in game studios. I know her voice is. She's also a composer herself. Like she's she's great. Maluka, her voice
okay.
is great,
Yeah.
and even smaller artists. You don't need to have such a following. You just need to have an online presence, and you need to not be afraid. You're gonna hate it, whatever it is. You're the one who sings it, so you're not. So you're gonna hate it, and you're gonna nitpick. Just just put it on. Put it out there. Put it out there, because people are looking for different things.
Mm,
And there could be someone who's looking for this thing that you dislike. Okay, so this is it. Just don't be afraid. Have an online portfolio. This is currently, in this world that we live in, this is the most important thing. and work on your individual, on the thing that's special about you, like the thing that's individual to your voice. Lay on that and stretch it out and make it noticeable. And just know that whatever it is, there is an audience for it. There's so many people in this world, there's so many projects, and there's so many people, developers working on so many different things. All of them are looking for something different. There's not one thing and one way that you have to sound to get the job. So yeah, don't be afraid to exist online and to upload your things. Me saying the same thing for the 5th time, but it's very important.
Mm.
And yeah, that's it. That's what I can say about this. Luck was definitely on my side, because my things didn't have popularity and they just appeared on Borislav's social media. They didn't have to. They could have not, because for 1,000 reasons, and then I could not, I could not be working on this. So it's all just up to chance, but you are increasing the chances by having a bigger and bigger online presence. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, they hit the nail on the head, one thing that I've always kind of tried to remember is especially if you're first starting off, your first project, it's probably going to suck. It's probably going to fail. But that's okay, because now you can take a look at it and go, how can I improve on this? And then 2-3 years later down the road, you can go back to do it and be like, hey, that was me 3 years ago. Now it is so much better, so much cleaner. The project and production is way better, or whatever it may be. Yeah, don't be afraid of failure. It's going to start off kind of rocky and rough, and you're going to hate it, but there's a growth period, growth time.
First time I went on stage, first thing that I sang on stage in an opera house, first word that I said, most horrible voice crack that you can imagine. And I literally stopped. I looked at the conductor, because it was with the conductor, with an orchestra.
Oh no.
And I was looking at her, and she was looking at me. And we just started over. And if I can recover from that, I didn't kill myself after that. And that is a feat. That is something to be proud of.
That's impressive.
So yeah, when it happens, and it's gonna happen, it happens to everybody. They just hide it. You can find, in opera, it's called black pearls. So when you search up black pearls and it gives you all of these amazing stars, it's like these super faily moments that they had on stage, which when you watch it, you're like, oh my God, how did that person recover? Nobody cares about that. In the long run, like they're gonna care about it for a week, and they're gonna discuss it, and you're gonna hate yourself, but then it just passes. So yeah, that's it from me. Thank you so much for inviting me. It was fun. It was fun because we're discussing this, and I know all of the things that you're talking about, and you all know all of the things that I'm talking about. So we've listened to the same.
It's like I was saying before we had our conversation. It's no offense to people I've had on previously, and it's no offense to people that I may have on in the future. This is probably going to be and go down as my favorite one interview that I've ever probably will have, because being able to speak music to someone that understands music is so rare for me. A lot of times I could just speak music and everyone's like, oh, well, he's being a nerd again, whatever. And I can actually have specific conversations about it. I can mention notes and little hidden things that may not be picked up, and that's my favorite part. So thank you.
Thank you.
When I've had voice actors on previously, usually the sign off is, um, and they say goodnight in their character's voice. Um, but since you sang in the track, do you think I could request lives, all mortal lives, expire?
Ah, oh, I don't remember the key that it was in. Ah, lives, oh mortal lives, expire. Souls go to their dooms in flame forevermore. It was like this, the endings. I was like listening to Evanescence and everything, and they all end their lines in like this ah,
Yeah,
which is like
there's
very, very rock and roll.
um I know her name off the top of my head. I don't know why I can't remember it, but Amy but
Amy Lee,
yeah, Amy Lee. Yes, yes. And
goddess.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And when um God, what is it? Why can't I remember it? I'm having a meltdown off your vocals. Um um it's Bring Me to Life when she sings,
Yeah,
especially Dark. She doesn't pronounce the K at all. It's DAR. She pronounces dar, and then it kind of just falls off from there, and she goes into the next. Um, so that kind of um, drop off and pick back up is a super cool style that she has. It's really interesting, and I do see that too. I do notice that too. Um, just the vowels are they're so round and whole, and oh, it's so good. Uh, Thank you so much.
thank you. I'm writing a little heart in the comments from my Twitch account.
Um,
So you're aware. We can follow each other there as well.
if you guys see as well in the pinned comment, you can also see where you can find more of Mariya. There's a TikTok and YouTube link there. There's also the Instagram name as well. All the socials are there. You can also see the Twitch account. Feel free to toss all of your loves and follows that direction. I appreciate it, and I'm sure you would as well.
Thank you, everyone. And in my own voice, good night. Well, it's good night for me. Maybe it's not good night for everybody, but have a nice day. And hopefully, I'm going to see you guys soon.
I look forward to it. I will definitely keep in contact with everything we spoke about. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. And have a nice day, you. I know you're in the middle of the day right now.
Only 5:30.
Still early.
Perfect. Have a good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, what an amazing, absolutely pleasure that was. That was, I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely died on the inside. That was insane.